Hi everyone, my name is Leigh Goldstein and I am the moderator of the trade room at JOBB. I'm the director and I want to welcome you and thank you for giving me your time today. It means a lot to me that you thought enough of my time to give me your time. So it's great to be here. I want to thank Eric and everybody at Cyber Trading University um, for having me here. And if you say the audio is low, let me see if that helps at all. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I'll move a little closer to my microphone, Lita. And basically, I'm here to show you a bunch of different things. I want you to be able to leave here with some free knowledge about news trading. Number one, not to be afraid of news trading. And number two, I want to give you some tools that you can use if you'd like to learn about news trading on your own. You're still saying volume is low. Let me try one more thing for you. Hopefully that will help a little bit. How's that, folks? Can you hear me okay now? I hope that that's better. Um, Basically, what I'm going to show you is the ability to trade the news safely and carefully on your own or using software that we market to help you to do it more easily. I want to go through a couple of things real quick. We always go through the risk disclosure. It's very important to understand that when you trade futures, which is what we do, we trade futures on NinjaTrader. Right now we're on version 7. We'll be on version 8 very soon. But when you trade futures, there's always a possibility you could lose money. There's always a possibility you could lose more money than what you have in your account. So be careful, trade smart, don't overtrade, and don't trade larger than your account really should let you trade. Sometimes the brokers will not pay attention and you might get away with trading more than you're supposed to trade and you don't want to do that. So be careful, be smart, and you could have a great experience trading. I have an agenda today, but I always like to show something fun. I want to show you what our software can do because I think it's the most fascinating thing I've ever seen. I was a member, just like all the people in this room. I was trading the news on my own. I was a TradeStation user, which I still happen to love. And I was looking for a way to trade the news a little bit more easily because I always found that I was getting stuck with slippage. It was just killing me. I was slippage meaning that when I entered, it was never near the price that I wanted to enter at. It was always later than the price I wanted to enter the market at. So one of the things that we try to help people do is we put our brackets, as you can see them right here on the screen, we bracket the current price. And I wanted to show you this one trade just to grab your attention. This was non-farm payrolls. You could see that literally in 4 seconds in this trade, I was live on NinjaTrader. You can see my account number. I wouldn't show you that if I wasn't live. And I made over $400 literally in 4 seconds in a sold out trade room. That is our absolutely most popular trade. It's called the non-farm payrolls, and it's really an exciting trade. We do it every month, and I'll show you how we do it in a couple of minutes. First, I'll just go through a couple of the agendas that we see, that you see. I'm going to explain, tell you a little bit about who we are, what news trading is. A lot of people don't even really know what news trading is, so why don't I cover that first? Every day, every week, every month, government agencies, companies release news reports that create volatility or fast movement in an index. That index might be the oil index. When the oil inventory reports are released, that news will cause the index to explode either up or down based on the release of a news item. So in other words, every Thursday, the natural gas report gets released. The price of natural gas at 10:30 always pops or drops pretty dramatically based on the natural gas storage report. On Wednesdays, although not today because we had a holiday, so oil will be tomorrow, but the oil report does the exact same thing. And then there's a lot of medium reports, and the medium reports are the way you make your bread and butter trading the news. Probably some of the reports you've never even heard of. Things like ISM manufacturing, Australia's retail sales. All of these types of reports come out, and I'm sure you're wondering, how do you find them? So the first thing I'm going to give you for free is I'm going to show you how you might want to find all these news reports that we find in order to trade the news. So bear with me for half a second. I'm on somebody else's software, so it's a little bit different than what I'm used to. But the first step is we go to a website called Forex Factory, forexfactory.com. Write it down. It's a great website. You can see it from today. This is a list of all the news reports that came out today. All right. Tonight, we've got manufacturing PMI from the Chinese news report. We've got CB consumer confidence that came out this morning, didn't really do very much. Canadian current account. And the darker the color of this little file, the more exciting the news could be. Okay. So today was not a super exciting news day. We had CB consumer confidence. And you'll see, though, as the week goes on, we go through Forex Factory all week long. We pick out our news. Chicago, we've got GDP tomorrow for Canada, Australian retail sales, and we create a schedule. And that's what I was going to show you today. We actually trade on a schedule. It's a fantastic way to trade. In other words, I don't have to sit. I don't have to watch the news all day long. I don't have to watch my charts all day long. I get a schedule that gets sent to me and our members every week, and it looks like this. Okay, we call it a high impact report alert. We have a daily one for each news report that we cover, and we have a weekly one so all of our members can look at their week this week and schedule their week around the news reports that we're going to trade. Now, I will tell you this. We also have a trade room. Our trade room is relatively new. I moderate the trade room, and sometimes I will add trades to our week. In other words, I might find some trades that our founder, who sends the original report, he may not be trading, but I might trade. So we have flexibility in our system. It's not just one person who's doing it. There's a couple of us who do it. Jay Offner, who's our founder, is the main person behind the news reports. But then because I moderate the trade room, I do some extra reports during the week that I think might have some impact. But the beauty of it all, the thing that makes it so interesting, is that we do it at a scheduled time. So I know that on Thursday, if I want to get up at 4:30 in the morning, I could trade the British manufacturing report. I know I'm going to trade the United States ADP non-farm report. I know I'm going to trade the ISM manufacturing report at 10 a.m. on Thursday. And then on Friday is our biggest report of the month, non-farm NFP. We've traded, I would say that we are 14 out of 18 on that report, profitable. It's been a very, very successful report for us. We trade bonds and the DAX on it. And we're looking forward to a sold-out trade room on Friday. People come and watch us. I think they like to see me do well. And then, of course, you always get people that want to see you goof up. And every now and then they get to see that as well. But the interesting thing is we do it live in front of you in our trade room. freetraderoom.com is how you can find us. And it's exciting, fun, educational, and entertaining. No question about it. Trading the news. You've been told probably you should never do it. It's too dangerous. It's not true, and I'm going to go over more things about why that's not true. So the first thing to write down, forexfactory.com is a great website to learn where you can find news to trade. Another great site is fasteconomicnews.com. Fasteconomicnews.com is actually a Forex site, and we don't trade Forex. However, it's a fascinating site because what they do is they have reports for an incredible amount of different news and charts that are available for news items that took place in the past. So if you're smart and you're using NinjaTrader, you can replay and research almost any news report with this site, fasteconomicnews.com. So for instance, I know that today, for instance, we had consumer confidence, Tuesday at 10 o'clock. I can simply click on consumer confidence, And then fasteconomicnews.com lists every consumer confidence report that they have in their database going back literally years. And then they have charts, so you could look at the chart if you want to see what the dollar yen did, or you could see what gold did on that report. Fascinating help for you to decide what reports you might want to trade and try to make money on. So remember that as well, fasteconomicnews.com. Two great sites. And then there's a third one that I love called investing.com. And investing.com, what's nice about that site is when you're trading, at the moment that you're trading, investing.com will show you the news result as it is happening. So in other words, for instance, today, we traded CB Consumer Confidence. Actually, we didn't trade it. I felt that it hadn't been a very well-behaving report, so I told the members in our room, let's not trade it. Let's test gold. Let's test the yen. I don't like the way the report's been behaving over the past 4 or 5 months. So we didn't trade it, okay? Very honestly, you just want to be careful. And what I do is pick the reports that I think are safe for the room, and that's how we do it. So what investing.com does, though, is it shows you instantly as the news is being released. Right here, you can see the news was 117.9. We were expecting 119.8, and that helps us when we figure out how we're going to stay in a trade, not stay in a trade. This is called the offset, the expected number versus the actual number, and that helps us to decide how we're going to continue with a trade if we get taken into a trade during a news report. So those are three very important sites: investing.com, fasteconomicnews.com, and forexfactory.com. All three of those sites help us to trade the news, and they'll help you to trade the news even if you have nothing to do with our company, don't use our software, don't do anything. They will just help you because those are sites that are news oriented, and they're great sites just for the beginner or for anybody that wants to trade news. Show you a little bit about our company. Right now there's 3 of us. Eric Spiker, he lives in Florida, has 2 children, just had a baby girl about 6-8 months ago. And Eric Spiker is one of our partners. Jay Offner was our founder. He designed the program. He's a submarine commander in the Navy Reserves. Very, very smart, fascinating guy. I mean, just to be on a submarine alone is fascinating, and then to be a trader and design software, also pretty interesting. So Jay is our founder. He designs all the reports that we get every day, every week. And then I'm the director. They call me the director. I was a musician. I still am, really. I'm a trader, and that's me, my daughter, my kids. And we are the people that make up JOBD. We're a very family-oriented company. We love our members. Our members to us are like a family. And we really care about what we're doing, and we care about people. And I think you'll find it when you deal with us in any of the dealings that you have with us, whether it's just email support or just trying to find out something that you want to know. We really do care a lot about what we do, and it's very important in this business to be for real. So that's what makes up our company. And then I was explaining what news trading is. And news trading, once again, very simply, is when a report is released, like an oil report or a gas report. It makes the index, CL, which is the new oil future, NG, which is the gasoline futures, natural gas. Those indexes will move radically when a report's released. And that's what you saw when I showed you this non-farm payroll report. We trade the bonds on that report, and that report, you can see the bonds are right here. This is the moment that the report's going to be released. It's going to be in a couple of seconds. This is the index right here. The report is coming out now. It causes the bonds to explode to the north. They go up. And our software brought us into the trade over here where this arrow is, and it took us out of the trade at our target. We had a target, we had a plan, We don't just randomly do things. Everything we do is well thought out and deliberately traded. And that's a very important rule if you're going to trade the news. It's not something that you just randomly do. You don't just throw your order on. You want to have a plan. You want to be smart. Here's a graphic from one of our members. He traded that same report using the bonds. And you know I'm telling you the truth because I've removed his account number. And he made over $900 on that non-farm payroll report. Members love to send us their screenshots. It's sort of like, it's one of the things that we're always asking for because they know we do these webinars, they know we talk to people, and our members, like I said, our members are our friends, and we say, hey, send us your screenshot if you made some money, and we'll use it in our next webinar, and we'll show people how well you did. And they just love sending their screenshots. It's part of what we do, and also to see how people are doing on the trades. The platform that we use is NinjaTrader. You have to use NinjaTrader right now. We are looking at other platforms. We are going to be on NinjaTrader version 8. I already have beta test versions of the software. We don't like to be the first on a new platform. We don't like to be the first on a brand new version of a platform. We want to give things time to settle out because we're very careful. We're very conservative because that's just our nature. It's just the way that you want to do things when you trade volatile information like the news. You want to do all of your activity should be on the careful side, not on the reckless side. So that's why we're still on Ninja 7. We'll be on Ninja 8 very shortly, and we're also looking at some other platforms for this year as well. I want to give you a couple of an example of how we work. So what we do is every week you saw our weekly schedule. Then during the week we have a daily report that comes out, and our daily report looks very similar to the weekly, but it's actually a report that will show you very specifically how to trade the report. So in other words, last night we had a trade, Australian building approvals, and all of our members got this particular report. It has history of how the report has behaved over the past 6 months. No, Mahmoud, no. The software can be used for more than just news, and I'll definitely get into that for you. I'll explain why in a minute. You don't have to trade the news. We also have a time trader in our software. I just wanted to show you this is a report for trading, one of our news trading reports. It'll give a bracket distance. You saw the bracket on screen. It'll tell you how big your stop should be. And then it'll talk a little bit about the report. It'll talk about how much of a reaction you might expect from the report. So basically, every news item we trade, we generate a report that tells our members how to trade it, what to trade it with, how risky it is. 6A is the Australian dollar, the date of the report, what the last bunch of reports did. And that's called a HIRA. We call it a high impact report alert. But we got a great question. Can you use your software to trade anything but the news? That's an absolute yes. Our software, we've made many, many upgrades to our software recently. We now have something that we call a range trade. So let me show you a quick range trade. A range trade is a time trade, okay? A time trade, so what happens in a time trade, you can pick any time that you like. So in other words, I picked 5 minutes. Our software draws a 5-minute range, and you can tell the software, enter the trade at the high of the range, 2 ticks above it or 2 ticks below it, 5 ticks above it, 5 ticks below it, 10 ticks, anything you want, and our software will enter automatically. And that's the whole point of our software. It enters automatically right before the trade so that you don't have to fumble around, because it's very tricky to fumble around with orders right before a very volatile news release is going to take place. So our software, see how it automated that entry? It puts the targets the entry right on the chart. And then this happened to be the oil open. The range was this big. It was 53.15, and it went down to 53.02. You could see it, so it was about a 12-tick range. And then when the range goes 2 ticks above, 3 ticks above the high, it filled us, put us into the trade, and then our stops, which are also automatic, get placed on the chart. And then watch what happens. This particular trade, you can move your stops and you can move your targets around. This is oil, which very often at the open at 9 in the morning has a very similar type of behavior. Many days during the week, it does a similar thing. It filled us. It's now going to shoot through both the targets. As you'll see, it take about 10 more seconds. And that's what we call our opening range oil trade. And that's a trade that many members do in the room on a regular basis. But the point is, you can do that trade. It doesn't have to be news. It doesn't have to be anything. You could choose any amount of time. You could do 9:30 to 10 on the ES, for instance. That's a very popular time frame that people trade the mini S&P. They do a breakout or a breakdown on the mini S&P. Our software can do that. Our software can do any time range, and we have a new update coming where it'll just let you choose one side of the range, so you could trade just long or you could trade just short. We have very advanced stop handling now, where you could tell it if you hit the first target, move my stop to break even, move my stop to break even +2, break even -2. Our software has become very powerful, just generalized futures trading software, besides being a very advanced semi-automatic news trader. And the reason why I say semi-automatic is, let me show you a couple of other trades real quick. Besides non-farm payrolls, there's many, many reports that we have that are very popular. We do things like ISM, for instance, is very popular. That's a manufacturing report. Or we also do a report called, let me just find the Australian reports. People love trading Australia because those reports tend to move really well. What you're looking for when you trade the news are reports that move. So, for instance, we trade the DAX, and sometimes we'll trade the DAX instead of the bonds on the non-farm report. This is the DAX, FDAX, 317 was the contract. 8:29 in the morning, you could see in about 5 seconds what's going to happen is the DAX brackets will be placed on the chart. And you're going to see the DAX is going to pop up, just like our bonds did previously. I'm just going to speed it up a little so there it goes. That was the DAX doing the same thing that the bonds did. It's amazing. What we are counting on is that type of a move. That's what we're looking for. Okay, not every move is gigantic either. This is a trade called core durable goods. Core durable goods is a trade that we were trading the Japanese yen. Okay. Mahmoud's asking a great question. I'll answer it in a second. In which market does this software work great? There's actually many markets that we think are very good. Now, do you mean for news, Mahmoud, or do you mean just in general? I would not say Forex, it's futures. It's definitely for futures. So this was a trade called core durable goods, traded with the yen. Also, an 8:30 trade. There's our brackets, okay? This is actually what we call a trap trade. This is our third type of trade. We create, this is a pop and a drop trade. It's a pop where we expect a move up and a move down because of the news. In other words, we have 3 trades. The time trade, which you saw with oil. The breakout trade, which you saw with bonds during non-farm payroll. That's an explosion in one direction. And then our third type of trade is this trade. It's a trap trade, we call it. It's a trade where we expect the news to move up and we will sell the market. We will then buy the market back on the move down. So we've studied the markets well enough that we know reports that we expect they'll do just what it did there. It jerked down and filled us long, and then as it pulled back up, We sold it short, made around $100 by the time the report was over, and that was only in about 20-25 seconds. You'll see it's going to be done in about another 4 or 5 seconds. Called a trap trade. The market moved up and down, and when it was done, we made just about $100 on that report, and it was well under a minute. So that's the third type of trade we have. The interesting thing is, I would say that our members love the most the breakout trade. People love the explosive trades the best because they're quicker, they're easier, and what I love is I think it's fun. You never know what you're going to trade. The other day, I looked at cattle. Even though I only made 20 bucks, I never dreamed in my life I would be trading cattle, but I was. Cattle's, you can see it up here. It says cattle 516.17. I'd never even heard of cattle before I traded JOBB. You don't even have to know how to trade cattle. All you have to know is that cattle are going to move during a certain news report that is going to make cattle move. That's what you need to know, okay? So that's what's so fascinating about trading the news. Here's a report, very popular report for us, and we have it this week. It's called ISM Manufacturing. It's a 10 o'clock report. You can see it's going to take place in 5 seconds. It's going to pop up. There's our brackets. They show up automatically. We don't have to do anything because that would be very hard to place them on the chart manually. You'd be fumbling around. You'd be making errors. There's no way a person could easily put those orders on the screen on their own. And then bingo, the report, the trade was over. $118, literally 6 seconds. That's ISM Manufacturing. And that was just trading one contract, 2 contracts, one for one target, one for the second target. If you would have traded more contracts, clearly you could have made more money. So I'm just showing you the basics of how this works, not the way everybody does it. People do anything they want in the room. Some people trade 10 contracts. Some people trade 5. Everybody's different. The beauty of our system is you can take our software, modify it to the way you like to trade, the way that you're comfortable, and exactly do that on the day of the news report. You don't have to do what we do. You do what makes you comfortable. And that's what's so powerful about what we do. We have people in our room that trade many more contracts than I trade. For instance, we have people that trade gold on a report that I might trade the bonds. For instance, one of our members was trading gold, and he made $1,400 on a report I only made $200 on. So he was trading more contracts. He was trading bigger. And you can see down here that clearly is gold. It listed up here. Again, he sent me these pictures. I took out his account number because we don't want to show you people's account numbers. But people are trading real money. Obviously, every trade's not a winner, but a lot of trades are. And our to enter the trades. Very often, we have what's called a bread and butter trade. It's a trade where it explodes, takes us in and out of the trade automatically. But very often, we will manually exit our trades. Some of the big trades that we have are the oil trades. The oil trades are very, very popular for us. This was an oil trade that I happened to do in 1 second. I made $110 trading oil, okay? I wouldn't make it up. I've crossed out my account number again. We don't want to show real account numbers. Oil reports are very popular. We also trade the 7-year bond auction. One of our members made $1,195 trading. I believe he traded 6 contracts on that report. He traded the ZB, that's $30 a tick. So for one tick with 6 contracts, one measly tick is $180 per tick. So you could see why he was able to make $1,195 on that trade. You do have to be willing to trade more than one contract to make decent money. But it's absolutely doable. People do it all the time. People trade silver using our range trade. This is a live. Here's the range. It's a little hard to see, but you could see that someone created a range. Silver opened that morning and went straight down, and he made $175 that morning trading silver on a time-based trade. Okay, so again, three types of trades: time-based, breakout trades, and what we call the trap trade. Here's another great oil trade. The oil trade is one of the trades people enjoy the most. It's risky, scary sometimes, but can be a very profitable trade because oil moves a lot on the reports. This member made $815 on the oil report. You can see his account is crossed out. He didn't want me to show it. And that was a very fast report. Our time 10:30, his time 7:30, so 2 minutes 35 seconds. He was up $815, and that happens more than it doesn't. Okay, um, we are more profitable than we're negative. Our reports are over 70% profitable. Everybody always asks the exact win-loss ratio. Mahmoud, a lot of it's going to depend on how big your targets are. In other words, if you have smaller targets than me, you might have a bigger win-loss ratio than I might have. If you have bigger targets, you might exit more manually. So you might have more trades that are not 2-to-1. We're easily 2-to-1 profitable, I would say. I would say that I would say 6 to 7 out of 10 of our reports are profitable. But you want to be honest too. News trading is like any type of system trading. Sometimes you'll have a drawdown. Sometimes reports will go the wrong way for a week or two, and then it'll turn around and you'll have 10 reports in a row that are great. So I don't want to make anything up. There are times, just like with any system, where you could have 3, 4 reports in a row that don't work out. But overall, if you trade carefully and trade smart, people make money trading the way we trade. And now that we've changed our software, it's fantastic because our software can also be used just as general futures trading software as well. This is another sample of our most famous trade, the non-farm payroll trade. We have it's called the high impact report alert. We tell you the bracket, how long to hang around before we cancel the trade. We have a lot of safety rules, okay? In other words, if a report doesn't fill reasonably fast, we probably won't stick around to take part in the trade. Because usually if a news trade, a breakout trade doesn't break out, then we don't want to trade it. We're going to wait and do something else. Wait for the next trade, okay? That's how we treat our system. We have a lot of rules. We have cancellation rules. We have things that we do to keep us safe because I know that people have told you your whole life, don't trade the news, it's too dangerous. What we say is trade the news, but trade it carefully. You can use multi-markets with the same software. In other words, this morning I traded both the yen and gold. Even though I was testing it, I could have been doing it live. I traded the yen and gold on CB Consumer Confidence, and you can absolutely trade multiple indexes at the same time with our software. Okay, as long as your platform can do it, um, and NinjaTrader can do it, then our software can do it. So we're now on Trap Trade version 2. I showed you the Trap Trade. That was our pop and drop trade. We have a couple of different ones of that. Let me show you one more of those because it is an interesting trade. Some of them are very, very fast also. This was a British pound trap trade that took place so fast. As you see here, what's going to happen, it's going to put our brackets on screen. We're expecting the market to move up and drop or move down and pop, okay? We call that a pop and drop trade. That's what I call the trap trade, a pop and a drop trade. I'm just speeding it up so I don't waste your time. Okay, there's our brackets. So what it does, it brackets the current price because we don't know if it's going to go up or down. We're not sure yet, okay? Not until we get in the trade. And then We set ourselves up for the trade. This trade went down, so we got short. We go the opposite way. It went down, it went down, we got long, and then as it reversed to the upside, it happened so fast, Ninja wasn't even able to write down our profit. But if you look in the realized section, we were up over $300 on that trade, and that trade was 7 seconds long, which is actually very unusual for a trap trade. Trap trades usually take a little bit longer, and we kind of like to give them time to breathe because you want to give the index time to move up, time to retrace. You don't want to rush it, okay? And we do that all semi-automatically. Our orders are all done automatically. Our exits can be automatic or manual, depending on how the trade goes. You have the ability to move your targets, your stops, and it's quite an interesting way to trade. And again, we're doing it on a schedule. People that join us, we have, just like all the educators you see in all the different places you go to, we have a members area, and in our members area, we have a whole bunch of reports, old reports, instructions, videos, all the usual things you'd expect in a members area of an educator like ourselves. We have a new software update that'll be out in about 2 more weeks. As I was saying, we're going to Ninja version 8, and we figured before we go to Ninja 8, we thought that we would also add a few more features to our software. So we've improved some stop handling, made the stop handling more advanced, just some things to make it easier to trade. So people that just want to trade futures with automatic entries and brackets would have much more powerful software trading tools that they could use. And on our website, we have tech support, and of course all our emails and our contact, all the things you'd expect to see, videos that teach you how to use the software, things of that sort. We have a brand new trade room, freetraderoom.com. If you go there, you can come and visit us in the trade room where we trade. Tomorrow morning we'll be trading Canadian GDP, which is a very popular trade that we trade. In fact, we'd love to see you come into the trade room. Here is our report for that trade. And in fact, if you sign up for our service at this webinar, we'll give you a year's worth of these reports, okay? Or the rest of the year. We're saying the rest of the year. It's like half a year now. For free, we'll give you all these reports for the rest of the year for free. Even if you don't use our software, they're tremendously educational. They tell you how Canadian GDP has been behaving, what kind of stop you might consider using if you trade it in a bracket-oriented setting, how big you might want to make your bracket, what instrument to trade. Mahmoud, I have not tested the software for Spot Forex, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work but the problem you have with Spot Forex is the brokers manipulate the price of the bid and the ask before the news report is released. We don't get that with the futures brokers. So in other words, that's one of the main reasons we like to use futures as opposed to Forex. There's less price manipulation before a news report with futures. So we think futures are a little bit safer, but it would work. I don't see why it wouldn't work for Spot Forex. You just have to be extra careful because with Spot Forex, there is the possibility of more movement before the news is released. So you want to be more careful, okay? That's what I would say. But I believe it would work. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. On our website, we have a lot of old reports that are up there with results of how the reports, exactly because of the spread, Mahmoud, that's right. They manipulate the spreads before the news report. And it's not fair, but that's what they do. It's the nature of Forex. The brokers, the brokers are sort of trading a little bit more against you than some of the futures traders are. And that's why I like trading futures for news. It's a little bit safer. Listen, the brokers, they want to make as much money as they can. And I would not say that the brokers are our friends because they're probably not. But the futures brokers are a little bit more transparent than the Forex brokers, in my opinion. Okay? That's what I think. Um, Another trade that we trade, I'm trying to find my Australian trades. Give me 1 second. We trade the Australian dollar a lot. We trade um, we trade the WASD report. A lot of people are always asking me, hey, what's a WASD? There's a grain report that comes out every month. It's a great report. And this was the results that I had with last month's WASD report. Made $212. The report was at noon, and you can see my clock was less than 15 seconds after noon, and I was up to 12. You could see the WASD made soybeans, which is what we traded. It popped up, filled me over here where I'm moving my cursor, and I got out up here where I'm moving my cursor, and I made over $200 on the WASD grain report. That's a very popular report that we trade. We also trade, let's see, I have so many non-farm. We've had so many popular non-farm payroll reports. It's just been unbelievable. How popular they've been. The ISM manufacturing report has been a very, very popular report for us also. And that report is a 10 o'clock report. We trade the Japanese yen with that report. That's been, that report probably gave us what we call the bread and butter trade. It's been so popular that what happened was it pulled us in and out of the trade automatically, that we made up the bread and butter vernacular for it. See, that made $156. Literally in 4 seconds, the trade was over. Very, very fast trade. So it's always exciting when you get a fast trade like that. It was so fast, I kind of almost have to show it to you again because it happened so quickly. Let me see if I can show you where the brackets are going to just start to draw. You can see it's live back here, right about here. It exploded down. There we go. It's going to put our brackets on the screen in about 5 seconds. And then boom, the price explodes down, fills us in 4 seconds for $156. And we call that a bread and butter trade. Bread and butter because it fed us. That's kind of like an inside joke for us. We're so funny, bread and butter, the trade fed us. And we get a lot of those every month. All different reports. Any report could be a bread and butter trade. Here's a natural gas report. Natural gas is a very volatile report. Natural gas comes out at 10:30 every Thursday. Always a report that has something that we call slippage. What slippage means is you want to be filled where your bracket is, but you might get filled higher up or lower down because the market moves so fast, it didn't fill you exactly where you wanted to get filled. So even despite the slippage, this report paid us almost $200. Okay, it happened so fast I have to stop it. It was 150 before I even got out of the trade. Okay, but natural gas reports are very, very fast reports. And that's because when they released the information that the storage for natural gas was less than what they thought, it drives the price of natural gas up most of the time. Not every time, but most of the time. So then we have a lot of support. If you have a problem, you can email us at support@jobracketbreakout.net. I'll give you my personal email before we leave here. But here's a member who traded 10 contracts on an oil report. He made $4,500. That's one of the best reports I've ever seen since I've been working here. He made $4,500 on the oil report. That was pretty amazing. 10 contracts. You have to have a little bit of guts to do that. So I know people are always thinking, you guys must charge a fortune for this software. And that's not really the case. We're incredibly reasonably priced. We believe that we want people to afford our system so they could tell their friends about us. They could tell other people they know really well that we have a really reasonably priced system. And we're offering a special for people that have come to this webinar. Normally would cost $297 to join us. We're just charging 97 bucks. It's all inclusive. It includes our trade room, everything that we offer, all of our trade reports, all of our tech support, all of our software, all of the different types of trades that we do. For just 97 bucks, you go to newjob.info, 2Bs, newjob.info. You have to type in coupon code 2017. And then we'll also give you, even if you quit after a day, we'll still give you the whole rest of the year's trade reports so you could read about them. If you're interested in trading the news, you could sort of game our system by faking us out, joining for a day, and then we'll still give you all of our trade reports. And those reports, they come out the day before the trade, okay? That's the whole point of what we do, is we generate our reports before the trade. So tomorrow, like I was showing you, I know what my plan is for the Canadian GDP trade. I know today because the report is out. Here's the report for tomorrow. I know that my stop is going to be 15 ticks. I know I'm going to cancel the trade if it doesn't fill in 10 seconds. And I know that my bracket, the price above the trade, the price below the entry, the price above the entry, is going to be 5 ticks. That's how I'm going to trade this report. So it's fantastic that we know before. So to give you an example, here's an Australian jobs report, a very popular report that we trade. Australian jobs, we trade on the Australian dollar, okay? The Australian dollar generally will move quite a bit when the Australian jobs report is released. It'll make the Australian dollar move dramatically, okay? 9:30, that report gets released. This one, you could see it did not explode as big as we normally expected, but it moved up nice and steadily. You could see it's moving. Going to get ready to try and fill our second target, but I manually moved the target down. And when the trade was done, 29 seconds, I made $130. That was trading Australian jobs, okay? A very popular report once a month. Most of these reports come out once a month. Some of them are weekly. Oil is weekly. Natural gas is weekly. And then we're thinking about some things for the future. Right now, we don't trade the dollar index. I think if we trade the dollar index, there's a whole bunch of reports we can look at that may fit our style of trading, and so we're looking at that as well now. So again, you just go to newjob.info, jobb.info, use coupon code 2017, and you can sign up for our service for just $97. It renews monthly at $97. That's easily the cost. It can be recouped in every single trade that I showed you that we made. All the ISM trades, here's another ISM trade that we made live in the room. This was a manufacturing trade. This was in July 2016. It just happens to be one that I just grabbed from my list of good trades. And you could see that this is a 10 o'clock trade. We're live in Ninja in our trade room because you can see my account number. The trade is going to put our brackets on the screen. The report creates news that responds. Bingo. 2 seconds I was out of that trade with over $150 of profit. Now again, I'm going to tell you this, that does not happen in every single trade. There are trades that we have to do things manually, or sometimes a trade will move slowly, okay? That's going to happen. Not every trade is going to be explosive, but that's not every news report is explosive. So you want to know the truth. Not every news report explodes. But many of them do, and that's what we're banking on. That's what our system banks on, is the fast movement of indexes when the news is released. And we include our software, our bracket trader automatically puts the brackets on just for 97 bucks. You can go to our website and we'll give you a year's worth of reports. I think it's a deal and a half. 2 activations for 2 computers, the free reports for a year, and we will expire tonight on that deal, so you got to do it today if you want the free reports. Do we have any questions? Okay, I see a question. Nope, I don't see any yet. Any questions? Mahmoud, you were asking, oh, the code, Jeffrey, is 2017. You just type that code in and it'll discount your price to 97 bucks. Mahmoud, I didn't understand what you meant. Is it for subscription? Yes. Okay, it's a subscription. It's $97 a month, in other words. It's the Ninja, the way that Ninja does it, and the coupon code is 2017. Very few people. I always found it just a little bit unusual. The Ninja business model is subscriptions. Everything that everybody does is you do this for a month and then you redo it for a month again. So we're very reasonable, 97 a month, and that expires tonight if you want the free trade reports. Okay, and all the things that you get, I've gone over it. You go to newjob.com. If you want to see what we do, you can go to Free Trade Room. Lists all the trades that we do every week. You can come check us out. It's a lot of fun. Tremendous education in our trade room. I can post the link right now. Here's the link. If you want our deal, okay, you can just click on that. And if you want to visit us also, you can do this as well. freetraderoom.com. 2 great links for us. A couple of the things that I thought would be very helpful for anybody who watched me today. forexfactory.com. My favorite is fasteconomicnews.com. Great sites. And then also investing.com. Fabulous news sites that will help you if you want to trade the news on your own or if you want to do it with us. So for us, if you go to newjob.info and the coupon code is 2017, expires tonight, we'll get you in with the free reports for the rest of the year just for 96 bucks, $97, I'm sorry. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me now. I've shown you a lot of reports. I've shown you how our software works. That's basically what I wanted to show you here today. I wanted to show you that it can be viable to trade the news. Even though everybody said, don't trade the news, don't trade the news, we do it every day. And what's great about our trade room is sometimes we'll say to our members, hey, wait up, don't trade this report. I don't like the way the index is moving before the news. Sometimes sometimes we'll say, hey, this might not be a safe report, okay? So you want to be careful sometimes. You do want to be careful. What I was saying, it's $297 to join normally, so it's over $200 to join. We're just charging 97 bucks. That's what I was saying. I was just generalizing on this one. So we're giving you a tremendous discount for visiting us at this webinar. Rich asked a great question. What's the minimum to open a futures account? Rich, it's more complicated than that. Let me answer that intelligently for you. You could open a futures account for $1,000, or even some brokers will let you open an account for $500. But the biggest thing that people do that shoots themselves in the foot is they underfund their account. Because if your account has too little money, then if you have one bad trade, you're already so far behind the 8 ball and so worried about having another bad trade that you defeat yourself psychologically. So think of it differently. The way to think about it is, what's the minimum amount I can put in my account so I could trade properly? That is the way to think about it. Not what's the minimum I could put in just to trade, but you want to put in the minimum to trade properly. And I truly believe that I would want to fund any futures account, whether you're trading any system, with $5,000 is what I would recommend. Mahmoud, you got it right on the button. I think $5,000. Because then if you have a couple of bad trades, you've still got money left. You're not totally worried every second about what margins are for the trade. You could trade and not worry every second. If you're trading and worrying every second, then you're going to have bad trades because you're going to psychologically damage yourself before your trade. okay? So the way to do it is to trade properly, and that's what we stress in our trade room. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming. Go to newjob.info, newjob.info. Sign up for our deal with coupon code 2017. It ends tonight. It's just $97 to join our service. You'll learn a ton about trading, about news trading, about the markets. We have a fantastic community of traders that come to our trade room every day. Options on futures. See, we do trade options on futures, Rich. The Australian dollar, uh, we don't really, no, I take that back. We don't trade options on futures. I would say that it would be tricky to use our software with options on futures. You want to use something that really works well with bracket trading, Rich. I'm familiar with options on futures because I've traded them previously, but I would say you want to stick with futures for our system. That's the best possible outcome for what we do. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming. If you have any questions, I'd like to give you my personal email. My personal email is procol33@gmail.com. PROCOL. I'll write it down for you. And I answer everybody that asks me anything, a question. I'm really good about getting back to people. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Eric and CyberTrader University for having me. It was great to be here. So newjob.info to get our deal with coupon code 2017. And thank you all very much for coming. And it's been a pleasure to meet all of you. And send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you in the trade room. So long.